Welcome to Awesome Scuba Adventures. My name is Gary Leach. I'm a scuba instructor. This video is part of my Scuba Gear series looking at dive computers. In this video, I walk through the menu structure of the Shearwater Teric dive computer in the watch mode. Let's take a look. It has a 4-button interface. The top left button is labeled as light. The bottom left button is labeled as menu. The top right button is labeled as function, and the bottom right button is labeled as info. To turn it on, all you need to do is select one button, doesn't matter which one, it'll turn on. And this particular screen shows owner, contact information, etc. After a few seconds, it will go to the home screen for, in this case, the dive mode, which is the OC rec mode in this case. You can see it up here on the left. Okay, so we want to get to the watch mode. So we select or push the bottom left button, and the first item in the menu is watch, and we're going to select that. So now we're in the watch mode. Okay, so if we tap the top left button, it will go through the various settings of brightness for the viewing. And so we can turn it off, we can go to low, medium, or high. We're going to leave it on high. So right now, if we hit the top right button, it'll toggle through the various watch views. And in this particular view, it shows the battery status up here on the left, and it shows the day and date up here on the right, and then it shows the time down in the middle, and then the surface time on the bottom left, and the pressure on the bottom right. So if we keep hitting the right top button, it will toggle through the different views of the watch. So this one shows the clock hands, and this one shows what is called the orbits, and then it'll go back to our initial view. So if we're in this view, showing all this data, if we hit the bottom right button, then we can determine what we want to view. Okay, so it toggles through 1, 2, and 3 different screens. So depending on how much you want to see on the screen, I'll do that again. So push it once, twice, and a third time. So you can see different things in those different views. Okay, so let's go to the next view with the hands, and we select the bottom right button, and it will also toggle through the different items that you will see on the watch view. Okay, so now we go back and hit the top right button and go to the orbits view, tap the bottom right button, and we'll get the different options that we want to see in that view. So we're going to leave it here and actually go back to the initial view that we had. Okay, so now we're going to hit that bottom left button and scroll through. This is kind of like a wheel. It'll go round and round and come back to where we were. So we're going to start with dive. Okay, so it goes the different menu items: watch tools, alerts, log, Bluetooth, settings, off, home, and back to dive. Okay, so if we select dive, we would go to the dive mode, which is another video. Okay, so we're going to go to the watch tools first, and we're going to select and go into the watch tools. And the first thing we see is alarms. Again, this is like it goes round and round, if you will, so that we start with alarms, and we go to timer, stopwatch, flashlight, watch face, and then we go back to start with alarms. So if we go back at this level, it takes us back to watch tools. Okay, so we want to go into watch tools again, and this time we're going to want to go into alarms. And we have 1, 2, let's see, so we'll go down. So there's 2 alarms, and then we can have a snooze time, and then it'll take us home. If we hit home, it will take us all the way out to home. Okay, so we want to go back into the watch tools and start with alarms again. And so we want to say, turn the alarm 1 on. So we select it, and we have options to turn it on or off. Okay, so we can scroll down through the menu screens for the alarm 1, and it'll show alarm 1 is off. And there's a time that we could set, how many days, notification, and then go back. If we go back here, it'll take us back to alarm 1. So we want to go in there, and let's say we want to turn it on. So we would select, yes, we want to go into alarm 1, and you can toggle between on and off. So if we turn it on, you hit the green button in the corner here at the top right, and it would turn it on. And it would alarm at 8:30 a.m. every day, and it would vibrate. Okay, so if you want to change any of those sub menus, you would select that item, say the time, and you can change the time. Okay, so you've got this arrow here, up and down on the 2 left buttons. You can change that number. Let's go back to 8. So we would now move to the right, follow that arrow, go into the next number, and let's go to 8. Easiest to go around that way. Okay, so we'll keep that as the same. So it moves to the next numbers, and you can set anytime, AM, PM, etc. And what we're going to do is go ahead and turn that back off, because someone starts to use this at some point and they'll wonder what's going on. So we'll turn that off. That's how you set alarm 1. And we're going to go back. Okay. So if we wanted to set alarm 2, it goes through the exact same process. Snooze time would be 9 minutes in this case. We want to change that. Let's say to 8 minutes. Move that over, or that was now. Okay, so I needed to move that over with the right top button, and I put an arrow down. So it's 30 minutes max. Well, let's see if we can go to 39. So if we can do 30 minutes max. Okay, so let's go back to that number and make that a 0. So let's go there, and then we'll go over 1, hit the top right button, and then we want to change that to 9, back to where it was. Okay, so now we have said the snooze time is 9 minutes. Okay, so now we want to go down to home, and we're going to go back home. It takes us, in this case, back to the alarms screen, or the list, alarms list, watch tools, which has alarms as the first item in the list. So if we want to go again into watch tools, we want to go into alarms, which we've done all those. Now we want to head on out down to timer. And so we want to get into the timer submenu area. So we want to select that. And the top right button is a start. Top left button is a reset. Bottom left button is an edit. And then again, the bottom right is home. And that one will take us all the way out to home again. So let's go back to watch tools. Want to go down to timer, bottom left, go into the timer, hit the top right, and say we want to start the timer from, it's set at 1 minute, and it'll count down from 1 minute. Okay, so you can do that, and you can stop it hitting that same top right button. If you want to reset, hit the top left button, it'll go back to 1 minute. Okay, so if we want to edit that, we hit the bottom left button and edit, and we can change that timer to whatever number we want. And we're just going to leave that, but the next item is going to go down to beep or vibrate, and you can go between vibrate, beep, visual, and beep and vibrate. And that's where it was. We're going to leave it here. So back to the start. So we're going to now go home to get out of that sub menu, and it goes all the way back to home. Okay, so now let's go down to watch tools, and what's below timer is stopwatch. So now we want to use stopwatch. So we, again, those numbers are those information is start, reset on the top left, and then we go home on the bottom right. So we can start it by pushing the top right button, let it go for however long, and then we can stop it. And then if we want to reset it, hit that top left button. And then when we want to go home, we hit the home button, and it goes again all the way back out. So now we want to go back into watch tools, go down to, in this case, flashlight, and there's your light. It just kind of lights up the screen. Okay, so you get done with that, you push it again, and it goes back out to the main home page for the watch mode. So we want to go back down. Let's see, to watch tools, and we did the flashlight. So now we want to look at the watch face, and we can choose between digital, analog, and orbits. And those are the things that we've been seeing. And the others, we're going to leave that at digital. And then if we go back in to watch tools and go through the sub menus to the bottom, the last one is back, and you can either select back from up at the top right, or in this case you can see that arrow here, the bottom right. So since we have it on the back item selected, we're going to select that. It'll go back to watch tools. So we're going to go back down there, and you can go to the top button and just roll back to the bottom to make it easier. And if we hit the bottom right button, again, it goes back to watch tools. Okay. So now we want to go down to alerts. Alrighty, so we want to select that, and you can alert yourself by having it on vibrate only, beep and vibrate, silent mode, or beep only, or vibrate only. So we're going to go back and put it on vibrate, beep and vibrate, and that you may have heard that beep. It also vibrated. So that is setting the alerts. Let's go to log. If you go into the log, it shows you the log. Okay, so you've got all kinds of information on the screen here, and if you want to go into that, if you hit the bottom or top left buttons, you can go through the log. Okay, so yeah, this shows that it has what, 73 dives. There's some options up here that you can select, and you can actually change the number of the next log. So if you wanted to change that, you would hit the top right button and you could change that number. Okay, so we want to cancel out that, so we're going to hit that red X. And you could go down here and delete all the logs. Okay, and if you select this, and it'll give you an option to cancel or confirm. We're going to cancel that with the bottom right button, and it canceled that. So then we can restore all, and we can go back again. The back button here is going back to the log screen. So if you want to get into an item or into a dive, say the third one down, back to 7, let's go 70, and we want to go check it out. It shows you the information about the dive. So you can scroll through the different bits of information, and the screen changes apparently. This is for different different dives. You see the number up here on the left changing. So if we were going to look at, you could do a quick comparison between dives at this point, that kind of thing. So we go back to 70 and we want to go into it more. So then we get more data on that dive number 70, and we get more data on 70, and we get to the end screen. So we can either go back or delete, and we're going to go back. Okay, so that's how you get through the dive log. And this again return takes us back to the home for showing back to the log. So this next one is Bluetooth, and we want to go in Bluetooth. It's initializing. We can go back home and just cancel that. So that's what we're going to do, go back to the Bluetooth option. And so now we're going to go, and that would be for uploading your log to, say, your computer or something like that. Then we go toggle down to the settings button or settings menu item and go into that, and we have different things that we can set. So we're setting the dive type of information. So we say we want to, well, let's go through the menu real quick. So we've got dive, we can do set deco, gases, the AI, it's not artificial intelligence, it's air integration, compass, display, watch, general, and home. So we're going to go into dive and set various things. So if we go into diving, this shows us we're going to be in the dive mode as an OC rec, which is open circuit recreation, which is a typical diver. Okay, then the menu options here are layout, big, different. You're going to get different levels. What home screen is, the function button, what the function button is, what the water type is, end dive delay, which is your delay after you end your dive, so that the computer doesn't, if you come up, especially if you're an instructor, you can be at the surface for a minute or two and then go back down with a student, it keeps the same dive. Then you have your log rate, different alerts, PPO2 limits, and then you go back. We're going to go into the dive mode to show you where it goes here, and you can choose between OC Rec, OC Tech, which is technical diving, and then the CCBO. You go to gauge mode, and this is where you can do free dive mode if you're a free diver. So we're going to leave it on the OC Rec because that's what our students would use and on their first dives, if you will. So we want to go layout and choose, we want to go into that, and we can do either big or standard, and we're going to stay with big. And then go down to the home screen, and you have an option in this right box here to go through. It's on T1, it's on off, but if we wanted to toggle through the different choices, that's your transmitter 1 for your air integration. And so T1 goes to T2, 3, 4, all of these different options. And we're just gonna rotate around and go back to T1. But you could put any number of things in that box, if you will. So back to T1, there's a lot of information. So we're going to put that in there and keep it there. It's turned off, so no big deal right now. So if we go down, we can go back either by using that button, the top right button, or the bottom right button. And if we want to reset everything, we can go reset. Okay, so let's go on through and where it takes us back to here. So let's use this bottom right button in this configuration where you go back. back to the home screen. Okay. So those are lots of options to choose from to put on your home screen. And let's go down to the function button. Right now it's set for compass. Okay, let's get in there, and we have different things to choose from. We can have the compass. We can put deco plan, stopwatch, tag log, no action, select gas, and we're just going to leave it on the compass for now. Then we can toggle down to water type, and right now it's that European ISO stuff. And we can go to salt, we can go to fresh. Since we are using this with students in the lake, probably I'm going to leave it on fresh, and so we just choose that. And then we want to go down to end dive delay. It's set at 1 minute right now, and we could change if we go up. You get the arrows up and down. It goes from 10 seconds as a choice. If we push these things to 10 minutes. So we're going to go back, and I can actually exit out of this by hitting that red X. So let's just do that. So it's still set at 1 minute, and we want to change our log rate, for example. We go into that. You can do it for once every 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and the other options are 2 and 5. And we're going to exit out of that as well. I could choose the 10 and hit the right top button, and it would do the same thing as the bottom right button. So we go down to alerts, and we've got warnings. Say we want to change the warning style, so either vibrate, beep and vibrate, visual only, beep, and we're going to leave it at vibrate. So if I save it, it stays. I could have backed out of that as well and exited out. Dive events. If we go into that, same options, okay? And then beeper. We can do high pitch, which is what it's set at, or low pitch. You can see the options. We're just going to back out of that. And then either the back button using that one or the back button down here, either one's going to take us back to alerts. Okay, so now we're going to go down to PPO2 limits. And so we're going to go into that. And you have the low OC low PPO2 at 0.18 ATA. You can set each of these different limits. You can reset, and this will take you back again. But let's say we wanted to do a 1.3 for whatever reason, and you can change that there. Okay, so again, you can exit out, and so we'll do that. And let's go on down. We can reset the limits, and we can either confirm or cancel. Or in this case, we're going to cancel. So it cancels, and then notice the back arrow here. We can hit that, or we can again toggle down the back and hit up on the top right, and both will take you back to PPO2 limits. And then we get to back at this level, and it should take us back to the dive. Okay, so now we want to toggle down to deco. It's at 4085, and so it's telling you that it's using the ZHL 16C plus GF model, which is gradient factor, and hitting the accept button doesn't do anything. It is just telling you information about where you are and what's there. So GF conservative is set at medium, and you can go in and select low, medium, high, or custom. And once you get in, you can make those adjustments to your liking. So we exited out of there. We're going to do last stop, and the options for last stop are 10 feet or 20 feet. And so we're going to stay at 10 feet. Safety stops, you can set it at adapt, at count up. You can turn it off, or you can have 3 minute, 4 minute, and 5 minute. Since we'll if this is used for our open water diver class, we're going to leave it at 3 minutes. It's what we use for safety stops. And then we can go back. We can use the bottom right button, the top right button when it's on that item, and we'll go back to deco. Gases. So we go into gases, and you got 5 different choices. Okay, so there's the active one that's down at the bottom. Okay, so it's showing us that the active gas is the air in this case. All of these others are off except for the one we just changed. So let's go wrap around and go ahead and turn that off. Okay, so now we want to go through and save that. You see the green little save button came up. Okay, so we save that. So now we want to toggle down to the back button, which you notice is on the bottom right again, and we can choose top right button since we've selected back, or we can just hit the back button from here, and I'm going to do it that way this time. So we're at gases. So now we're going to go down to AI. Okay, so we've got AI is off. If we hit the right button, top button, we can turn it on if we have an air integrated transmitter connected to the tank, and we want to do the AI mode. And for right now, we're just going to leave that off. And down to that series of end of that series of menus, and we can hit back again by the right bottom or the top right when it's on that option. And it goes back to AI. So now we want to go to compass. Notice it's on. We can enable it and say we want to select and make a change. We can turn it off, but let's go ahead and keep it on. And then there's an outer ring. You can either hide it or show it. We're going to leave it how it was on hide. And declination for Austin area, I went and looked it up online, and the declination is about +3 degrees. So you can get in here and change that. So if we want to go to, we need to go over to get to change, so say 4 degrees or 2 degrees. You can change any of those numbers that you need to. And we're going to save that. So that's where that is. And then we want to see about calibrating. Top right, you go in, you can either calibrate it or you can cancel. We're going to cancel that right now. And then again, we go to back, and either button, since it's on that item, can be optional use and takes you back to the compass item. And then we go to display. It shows us in feet and Fahrenheit. And we can choose units. So choose the units here, and it'll toggle between meters and feet. And we're going to keep it in feet. In this case, I can save the feet again, or I can exit out by the red X. Down to the temperature units, same thing. We've got degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to leave it at Fahrenheit. You've got colors. If you select that, and so you custom, you have the option between custom, standard, sunlight, night, predator, and we'll leave it on custom, or just go ahead and cancel out. Now we're going to customize, and the values of the color, it's at white. You want to go in there, and you got choices of white, red, green, all these different colors. So there's a lot to choose from. And we're going to go back to white, and if you get lost and want to keep the same color, you just again hit that cancel button. Titles color, same set of colors, you just choose what you want. Units, same thing. The menu, same thing. Watch color, same thing. So I'll hit the back here this time. It goes back to customize. And now we're at back here, and again I can choose either button since we're on that option, and it goes back to the colors. Let's go to brightness, and we have it's set on high. We could change it if we go in there and change it high, medium, low. And if we go up, it'll go low, medium, high. So we're gonna leave that. Go ahead and cancel that. And got 3 levels. You could have 4 levels. So if we did that, and went back to that one, what do we get? High, medium, low, and dim. So again, we're gonna leave that on high. So if you wanted to go to different levels or number of different levels, you can change that there. Include off, yes. And you can, yes or no. So we're gonna leave that as is. And then again, we go to back and you can choose either one. So now we go to timeouts. And getting into timeouts, you have a dive timeout. And you go to off or you go to watch. When it times out, when it times out, it either turns off or it goes to the watch mode. And so we're going to leave it how it was. And on the dive timeout, time-wise, you could set it for 5 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. And so those are, we just toggle through those options. And again, we're going to keep that the same, so we exit out of there. And the watch timeout can be on no motion. So if it sits around for a while, it'll just turn off. Or it could be moving, getting moved around, but there's no button push, then it will activate based on that. No buttons being pushed. So we're gonna keep that as no motion. And watch timeout be 20 minutes. You got 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, etc. We're going to keep that as what it was. And again, back, choose either one, back to timeouts. And again, we're in that display mode. So we're hitting back, either one on the right button. Now that we're there, we can go back and it'll get the display. So some various sub menus all throughout this machine. So that's pretty cool. So we get into the watch options, and there you can do a 12-hour format or a 24-hour format. We're going to leave it at 12 hours, so just exit out of that. You can set the time, 8:50 p.m., the date, what time zone, and then daylight saving time. Either it's on daylight saving or it's not, so you can switch between that before a dive, or when it changes for the week, all of a sudden now we're in the daylight saving time, or we're not, adjust that accordingly. And then the function button, watch face. If we would choose that, we can choose watch face, flashlight, alarms, stopwatch, all these different options. So we're going to leave that the way it was. Go ahead and back out of that. And then we want to back out of this sub menu. Again, either way, watch. So that takes us to the next one is general. And we select that. We've got user info. If we toggle down, it goes through battery, defaults, system info, and back. Okay, so we're going to go back to user info. And you can put in the owner and you can type it in. Okay, so whatever that you want there. And then toggle down to contact. You got a contact one, has the same type information, screen layout that once you get in. And we're going to exit out of that. So you've got 2 contacts potentially. And back, again, it's going to take us back to user info. So let's go down to battery. Quick charge is off. And you can turn it on or off. And we're going to leave it off. And then we go back. We choose the top one that time. Go back to battery. Defaults. And you can reset the settings if you want to do that. And again, you can either confirm or decline, or cancel. And we're going to cancel. Reset deco. You can confirm or cancel. And we're going to cancel that. Reset both. again, confirm or cancel, and then back. So we'll just, from another menu item, we can hit the back since the back arrow is over here, and it takes us back to defaults. So we're going to system info, and it tells us about the computer. So it tells us the serial number. If we hit that, it doesn't do anything. What version it is for software and hardware, firmware, I think that's what it is, but software, hardware, AI version, and then back. And so you go up down to the bottom one, and that is back to the next upper level, back to general. So then we can go towards home, and notice that the home button pops up down here, so you can choose the top or bottom, either one, and it'll go back home in the watch mode, so it'll go back to the watch mode screen, home screen. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed walking through these menu and screens for the Shearwater Teric dive computer while it's in the watch mode. Again, my name is Gary Leach, I'm a scuba instructor, and have a great day. I'm gonna turn this thing off now, so. Bye. I'm Gary Leach. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Awesome Scuba Adventures.